Hey, what is up guys? It's Brendan here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Save Max Auto, doing a Save Max Auto review, taking a look at is it legit, and what actually happens with my information when I provide it to this website. So instead of the hype, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how this works and explaining how the entire comparison industry works as well, so you can decide if it is best for you. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into things. So what exactly is Save Max Auto? So Save Max Auto is not a traditional insurance company. It is instead a comparison platform. So I'm going to be explaining it exactly in more regular terms so you can kind of understand exactly what they do and what they offer. So if you think about it, maybe like a mortgage broker. If we take a look at, traditional mortgage broker, it's probably something you've experienced. And essentially when somebody buys a home, you're not just walking into a singular bank anymore. You're typically going to go into a mortgage broker's office, such as this one on screen, for example, and they're going to ask you for some basic financial information. This includes, your income, debt, credit profile, and then they send that info into dozens or even hundreds of different lending partners in order to help you shop around and find the best rate for your home, right? So whether it be a purchase and when you're just shopping around for a home, right? And helping you go through that process and essentially making the mortgage process a lot simpler. So, and then once the broker is then going to take your information, they're going to shop you around, kind of get you the best deal, then that broker gets paid a commission by whatever lender that you decide to choose, typically between about 0.5% to 2% of the total loan amount. And that's really just how mortgage brokers work. And by the way, as well, about 25% of mortgages in the US are done through brokers instead of traditional banks. So it is actually a decent amount. Essentially, Save Max Auto is the same concept, but instead for car insurance, where you're going to be shopping around for quotes, right? By side-by-side comparison from the top carriers. In addition, if you're considering maybe if you've ever used Bankrate, for example, to find a high yield savings account, for example here, it's essentially the same model, same process where they're going to compare, take some information and compare and shop around for the best offer for you from a multitude of different companies, as you can see on screen here, listed out for, in this case, a high yield savings account. So very similar concept here to Bankrate as well when you're shopping around for different financial products. Again, same kind of thing for home insurance as well. If you're looking for home insurance, maybe for example from NerdWallet, you get homeowners insurance quotes. Yeah, pretty similar screen even here. Type in zip code and you get quotes based on your information. So again, pretty simple process, and all these services are going to collect some information to help match you with the best providers and then get paid a referral fee if you decide to move forward. So when it comes to auto insurance, Save Max Auto is doing exactly that. It does the sorting and matching for you based on the information that you provide, such as your zip code, as well as some other information that we're going to be walking through later in this video, just so you can kind of get an idea of the overall flow. And that way you don't have to shop through hundreds of different car insurance companies yourself, typing in the information on a bunch of different websites or a bunch of different companies. So it will then connect you with the providers offering the best rates for your specific situation when it comes to maybe what state you live in, what kind of car you're using as well. Those are all things that kind of go into the overall factors, right? That kind of how car type affects insurance costs. All those kind of things can, help build the process as far as which companies might be best for you. So exactly how this works, right? We're doing it step by step. We're going to go ahead and type in a sample zip code. We're just going to go ahead and use Beverly Hills 90210, and then you just click fetch my quotes, and it'll bring you up with the questionnaire. So in this process, you're just going to provide some simple information such as, your vehicle year, as well as, let's just say, 2019. We're going to go with a Honda. We're going to go with a Honda Civic. Do you own this vehicle? Yes or no? We're going to say yes. Add another vehicle. This could, save you potentially some money, or say no. Other insurance, maybe if you've had Geico or Progressive, had an accident, yes, no. Essentially just some simple information here. If you're a homeowner, yes, no, married, gender, military, all these kind of things here. And then that'll help kind of go you through your process. Of course, when you're born again, this kind of gets into a slightly more personal information, but that's pretty much the step-by-step process. And what you're going to provide, name, simple information, right? So basically that is the process that you provide, and then they're going to help get you matched with companies that will best suit your specific information, right? Because you enter your zip code, answer those couple of few questions, and the system will match you based on your driver profile, based on the information that you provide. So again, SaveMax Auto does not actually sell the insurance itself. It just handles the sorting and filtering to connect you with the best fitting carrier depending on your specific situation. So as far as the one typical concern that a lot of people do have is, of course, data and privacy. Again, if you want companies, competing for your business automatically, your information essentially has to go to those companies, and they do have a privacy first contact, info required, no spam as far as that goes, that's how quotes exist. If you want your information to be shopped around, you have to provide some level of information so that you can actually get the best quotes, right? So what most people don't realize as well, when you go through a major insurance provider's company page, you go to get a quote, and maybe you don't decide to buy with them, maybe with Geico, Progressive, State Farm, you decide not to go with them, they're still going to share or sell that lead to other insurers. That's why you typically do get a lot of calls requesting, even after just requesting a singular quote. This is their actual Trustpilot claimed profile. Again, the SaveMax Auto Insurance Agency company, showing the essentially what they offer and their reviews, and going through here again, these are legitimate reviews. Again, solid option if you shop around first. A couple of people will see middle of the road type reviews, but overall is a pretty decent real users or real feedback on their actual Trustpilot page of SaveMax Auto. And then going to their Google reviews here as well, you have 19 here. This is the SaveMax Auto again, as you can see here, open 24 hours. This is their Las Vegas, Nevada location. So they do have real reviews and real activity here. We can scroll through here just a couple of weeks ago. Pretty recent activity here on SaveMax Auto's Google business profile. So are they a massive national carrier by any means? No, of course. But are they transparent as far as when it comes to the reviews and their legitimacy with a real location? Obviously, the answer to that would be yes in this case, because they do have legitimate location. They do have legitimate, business reviews as well. Here, not hiding anything. Essentially, again, this is transparent information. Again, that level of disclosure across different companies isn't always the case, especially in the quoting car insurance, shopping around insurance agencies. So when it comes to the pros and cons, and you're maybe considering getting started with SaveMax Auto, a couple of the pros, right? So it can help save you time when shopping around on multiple different insurers. Obviously, that's pretty much a given here. 100 different companies to help find the match for you. That's part of the process. It's also free to use. You can get a free call. You can enter in your information and get quotes for free. And they have multiple companies then essentially competing for you. And they are also fairly transparent about their data sharing and what that process looks like as far as your name, email, contact information. Some of the cons is, again, you might actually receive some follow-up calls, which is something kind of a negative that, really you're going to have across almost any different company that you decide to maybe shop around car insurance with. So it's part of just the nature of the beast. Expect some follow-up calls that you might receive. And it is also a middle layer, not a direct carrier. So, if you'd rather just go with a direct carrier, then, that's something to consider. Or if you'd rather shop around and potentially save money, then, SaveMax Auto can go through that process. But they are a middle layer, not a direct carrier themselves. And of course, they are also not a household name yet, right? They're a newer company, not exactly a household name just yet, although they are working up to that. So in terms of the follow-up calls, that is typically the biggest complaint that people have. But again, that's really just how, again, like I said, the comparison system works across the industry as a whole. It's not necessarily unique to SaveMax Auto if you're trying to shop around. So at the end of the day, overall, for my honest Save Max Auto review, yeah, and it's not a scam. It's not a secret insurance company, right? They do actually have a physical location as well. And that it is essentially doing the same thing. It's not doing anything different from, traditional mortgage brokers, where they're going to, try to find a mortgage loan for you. It's not really doing, anything different than that, or even Bankrate for comparing like high yield savings accounts or other comparison platforms like NerdWallet, like for homeowners insurance or something like that. It's basically just doing the same thing, but for auto insurance. So the difference is that they are pretty transparent about how it works in terms of the convenience, automatic comparison, and if you don't want information, shared with multiple lenders, then no comparison tool practically anywhere is going to be for you if you don't want some information shared with when you're looking at a comparison tool. That's really just kind of how it works. That is the trade-off. So if you do want to check out Save Max Auto, I will leave that first link down below in the video description. Will be to Save Max Auto at the official site in the links in the video description. And if you've used Save Max Auto, be sure to leave that down in the comments section below. Your personal experience, good or bad, so that people, when they're searching for a Save Max Auto review, can see real, genuine feedback from real customers. So guys, hopefully you found this video helpful. Again, if you did, then be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and notification bell so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Anyway guys, that is all for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.